How to reduce the debts using astrological principle. There are many people who get into a debt trap. Now, what is a debt trap? For example, somebody is doing a business. For example, a person wanted to release a movie across. He had borrowed the money for releasing the movie. Unfortunately, his mother became sick. So he had to spend all the money on the mother's sickness and he could not release the movie. So he was forced to take more loans from this. So this is called as a debt trap. This is called as the Rina Roga. R-I-N-A. Rina Roga. The Rina Roga means you are forced to take debts again and again, and the debts tend to multiply a lot without your control and without your understanding. For example, there was a person who wanted to do an export business. He did the export business. He sent the goods and he was supposed to receive the goods and receive the money for the goods. Before he could receive the money, there was another order he came across. For that, he had to borrow the money and send the goods across. He told, as soon as this money gets released across, I would pay off this loan. Unfortunately, the buyer delayed it and he rejected a lot of products and he gave only partial amount of money. So this put the plan of this person haywire and he got into a lot of problem. So that is a debt trap. For example, there was a person who bought a house and he paid the money for the house and they said by 2020 we will hand over the house across. But unfortunately, the builder delayed the housing process. This person was forced to live in a rented house and he had to borrow the money to pay the rent. Because he thought if he goes to the own house, he need not pay the rent. He can pay the rent as an EMI. Now he was paying the EMI and he was paying the rent also. It became a double whammy. So this is the debt trap. For example, one of my friend, he borrowed the money. He said, I need to receive certain money from the people. I will tend to give it to you as soon as the money comes. Unfortunately, the person who was supposed to return the money to him did not return the money and he got into a big problem across. So this is the meaning of debt trap, and the loan tends to multiply in hundreds and thousands and lakhs and crores. The loan tend to multiply. You are unable to pay the interest, but you are only paying the interest. In certain cases you cannot pay the principal, and in certain cases the interest is much bigger than the principal across. So that is also the meaning of debt trap. Now many people tend to make that they are having a bad time. For example, many of them have Rahu Ketu Dasha, which creates a lot of debt trap in people's life. The second thing is the sixth lord or the sixth house has many planets. I saw a person had a lot of Rishabha Lagna, 3 planets in the 6th house. So the person tend to borrow a lot of money across. The other problem with the astrological combination is from Guru, if there are many planets in the 6, 8, 12, that also make the person borrow the money. That also tends to make people borrow the money across. So therefore, this is one of the main reason why they have a problem with the debt trap. So how can you, the other one is the 11th lord is associated with Rahu Ketu. Only if they borrow the money, then they will gain money. For example, there can be many people who will tend to borrow the money. and they tend to have a wrong sense of timing. For example, there was a guy from Singapore who imported the CD. Unfortunately, there was a huge court case which went on, and the government banned the CD. He was unable to sell the CD across. His product selection was very good, everything was very good. His time alignment was very, very difficult across. So that is the problem with the debt trap. For example, for coming out of the debt, you can do puja for Rina Vimochana Ganapati, Rina Vimochana Narsimha. The other important thing is you can do it for Mahalakshmi. And there was a guy who came to me. He had Rahu Dasha. It was a very, very difficult Dasha for him as a person, and he was like tending to find it very, very difficult across. And I suggested him the Mahalakshmi Puja, Mahalakshmi Stuti, and the Mahalakshmi Ashtakam Sri Suktam across. He started doing that, and he came out of the debt. In fact, he had 8 crore debt, and he came out of the debt completely across. This is the meaning of the debt trap, and especially from the Guru, the 6th Lord needs to be worshipped for coming out of the debt trap. So please understand, astrology has a lot of remedies. The pattern tend to get repeated, the coincidence tend to get repeated, and the law of attraction is against you as a person. So when you can do the ritual like lighting the lamp, puja, homam, that will help you to come out of the debt trap of the people across. And this is one of the most important thing people refuse to understand. It is beyond planning, it is beyond talking. You can write it down, you can divide the debt into big debt, small debt, you can put all the debt into one thing, but unfortunately the debt tend to multiply across. So even though you can cut down, beyond a point you find it very, very difficult to cut down. So if you are having debt problem, if you are having the Rina problem across, please do approach us. We would definitely help you with the astrological remedies which will help you to come out of the debts. Many people have debt issue. They find it very hard pressing, and once they pay off the debt, again the debt tend to reappear. It looks like a habitual pattern across. So this is a very, very important remedy, and you need to do with the alignment. There are other techniques are there. You need to pay the debts in Rahu Kal, Yamagan, because if you pay the debts in the negative time, the negativity will reduce, so the debts also will reduce. The second thing is you should not eat in the other person's houses, and the third thing is you should stand and give the money to the people. And very important thing, man should not borrow from elder women. If a man borrows from elder women, the debt will be used as negativity. It will bring in a lot of negative expenditure. The other one is the women should not borrow from younger man. If a women tend to borrow from younger man and from our own blood people, that will also give you a lot of problem across. So please understand that there are astrological combination, astrological remedies which needs to be done to overcome the debt. So if you have debt problem, definitely we can help you across. We would suggest you remedy. You do the debt, and the debt will come down in a gradual manner, step by step manner, where you will be free of the debt across. I pray God, may all of you have the blessing of Mahalakshmi, and may you be free of all kinds of debt traps. Thank you.